What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the things to do when visiting Las Vegas. Let's do it. All right, guys. First up, we're at the Stratosphere Hotel and Casino here, but what we're going to do right now is actually head to the top of this tall stratosphere. It is 1,149 feet. That's 350 meters tall. It is actually the tallest observation tower in the United States and second only in the Western Hemisphere to the CN Tower in Toronto. Now, we did get the ticket for $18. I don't know if that's a temporary price change or if it's permanent, but if you go online, they say it is $24. But you will find roller coaster and other rides like this one that just goes right out over the edge. I mean, you are way up here when you're on this ride. There's also another ride that's at the top that takes you straight up and down, and then there's bungee jumping. And also, if you go down below to the encapsulated area, they have a rooftop restaurant right here in the stratosphere. Down below, they do have a hotel and casino at the bottom levels below the tower. By the way, guys, this is a list of 50 things to do, so let's keep on moving. Next up, we're headed over to the Venetian. This hotel casino is modeled after Venice, Italy. Inside, you will find Italian-styled art on the roof. Also on the ground is going to be marble. It's very much like a palace. They have shopping, they have restaurants, they also have an interior gondola, which we'll be showing you next. Now, this is more of a thing for couples or families, I would say, where you get to go around the gondola indoor and outdoor. They kind of take you around as if you're in a boat in Venice, Italy. And like I said, it goes through the shops and it goes outside. This is called the Gondola Ride of Venice Hotel. The ride varies between $34 per person to $39 per person, and it takes about 15 minutes. And right next to the Venetian is actually the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Inside here you have life-size replicas of your favorite celebrities. It is cool. It takes about 45 minutes to walk through and take pictures with these life-size imagery. I personally enjoyed the Shaq one just because Shaq is so tall. The ticket here is around $37. It is $43 if you want the Universe 4D. And this is a look at that 4D that you would watch after you walk through the exhibit. Next up, we're actually going to head to the Las Vegas sign. Now, the Las Vegas sign here, all you do here is take a picture, but it's at the south side of the strip and it is a historical monument. And now onto the strip, which is probably the most popular thing to do in all of Las Vegas, is walk the strip. By the way, guys, we do put timestamps below in the description below so you can bounce around from attraction to attraction. For me, the strip starts at Mandalay Bay and then goes all the way down to the Stratosphere, although I would really stop around Treasure Island or the new hotel, Hilton Resorts World. That's really where it is. So you're going to get the Wynn, you're going to get the Bellagio. If you wanted to know my favorite area in that whole area of the strip, I would say aim for right in the center, and the center would be around Caesar Palace, Bellagio, the Venetian, or Paris. This hotel right here, known as Palazzo, is actually an extension of the Venetian. So if you're looking for a place that's ritzy and high-end in a great location, consider the Palazzo. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you what my favorite thing to do in Las Vegas: eat. They have so many different restaurants in Las Vegas, everything from Gordon Ramsay to Guy Fieri. All of the major chefs that are popular celebrities have restaurants here, also Wolfgang Puck, but you're going to get some of the top of the line food quality: Wagyu, sushi, tuna, all these different quality of meat. And so much variety in cuisine, everything from Asian fusion on down the line to Mexican food, Italian food. Obviously, you could see everything that we ate here, so many different cuisines. Price ranges vary too, because a lot of people used to come to Vegas because they would get the $2.99 steak. Well, nowadays that $2.99 steak seems to be about $8.99 or $11.99, and you can typically find that on Fremont Street. But you can still get affordable food in Las Vegas. Typically, it's going to be more of that fast food like you would find at Excalibur, Pizza Hut, stuff like that in the food court. Basically, the cheaper the hotel, the lower the price in the food. The more expensive the hotel, the more expensive the food. Places like Circus are going to have cheaper food because it's a cheaper hotel. Now let's talk about Topgolf. For those of you who like a little physical activity at night before you go out, really tie one off. You can tee off at Topgolf and smack some golf balls and let out some frustration, maybe some losses that end up turning into some gains. We'll see, right? That's what Vegas is known for. Now we're going to actually head over to another place to do some shopping, because shopping on the Strip, shopping in Las Vegas is popular. The shops at the Crystal. Now be advised that shopping here is going to be expensive because they're going to have all the top tier designer brands, but just walking around here, you're going to get this feeling of luxury and ambiance that you won't find in many other places around the country. So if you just want to walk around and do some sightseeing, exploring, that's also okay. But if you want to get something really expensive, this is where you're going to want to go, the shops at Crystal. And the cool thing about the shops at Crystal, it is connected to one of the best resorts in all of Vegas, the Aria. If you ask people what are the best resorts in Vegas, they're typically going to say the Aria, the Bellagio, and the Wynn. So here we are looking around the Aria, a beautiful hotel casino. Hotel resorts like the Aria and Bellagio, they do take on themes depending on the time of the year. We were here in February, which is time for the Chinese New Year, so that's why you're noticing a lot of Chinese New Year kind of ornamentation around the Aria and other hotel resorts. Now what we're going to do is head away from the Aria over to an area known as the Linq. This is where they have the high roller. They also have some museums here. They have Margaritaville, many different restaurants. You walk around here, a really nice area. This is right in between the Harrah's and the Flamingo Hotel, right there on the Las Vegas Strip. I would say the best time to come to the Linq is going to be in the evening time, and you will also see some zipliners going across, but the big ticket here is going to be this high roller Ferris wheel. You go way up there, and it does cost $23.50. Right next to the Linq and the high roller is going to be the Selfie Museum. For those of you who want to get in there and take some fun selfies, this is a cool museum to also check out. It is $25 per person. And what would be a time in Las Vegas without trying some of the drinks? You have cocktails, you have beer, but the interesting thing about Las Vegas is you can walk with an open container along the Strip. Drinks in Vegas can add up, so a lot of people just buy something from the convenience store and they drink it in their room and tie one off before they actually go out. But they do have these cocktail waitresses that come around and provide free drinks if you're gaming. The thing is, the long wait to get that drink might end up costing you a lot. Next up, let's talk about the Mob Museum. This was one of the coolest museums I've ever been to, and it's right here in Las Vegas. The history about the mafia and how the intelligence agencies of the United States brought down the organized crime of the mid-1900s really is impressive. You learn so much about Las Vegas, the mafia in general across the country. Now, depending on your age and your status, the prices do vary anywhere between $16 to $25. If you're a veteran, you get a benefit. Also, going online, you can get cheaper tickets. But like I said, this museum is definitely one of those things you want to add to your list while in Las Vegas. Down the road, they also have the Neon Museum, and it's right next to Fremont Street in downtown. Also, guys, as a reminder, if you check the links below, there are links to other videos, including California. Next up, let's talk about some gaming. So here you're going to have slots, you're going to have roulette, you're going to have craps. My favorite table is going to be either roulette or maybe blackjack. I also like doing some of the slot action, although that tends to be risky with your money. And speaking of awesome gaming, head over to the Wynn, which I already mentioned as one of the best hotels in all of Las Vegas. Not just because of the gaming, but because when you're in here, it is truly a palace, indoor and outside. Really amazing. If you can get a room here for $250 to $300 a night, it's probably a steal, especially if you're with your loved one. This is a romantic kind of hotel. You're going to feel like you're, royalty when you're staying at the Wynn. This here is a look at the Wynn Indoor Garden. They also have a lake here. If you go outside, you'll see different types of pools. They have also an indoor pool, which is good in the winter time because Las Vegas gets cold in the winter, but it also gets extremely hot in the summer. Part of the Wynn is going to be the Encore. It is a little bit more tame. There's not the indoor lake and the garden area, but it's still another place to check out. It's like a palace, but it's more of the leisurely kind of experience at the Wynn property. That's two different towers. One says Wynn and one says Encore. Same property, but different actual concepts. And since we've already talked about the Aria and we've talked about the Wynn, let's talk about the third best property in Las Vegas on the Strip, the Bellagio. And in here you have the Bellagio Botanical Garden. There are several different things you can do in Bellagio, but the Botanical Garden is impressive. It's worth going in there, especially if you want to take some really cool pictures. again with the Chinese New Year theme. Also, I want to tell you, we are going to be making several videos from Las Vegas, a travel guide, and a things to know. Also, you'll notice there is a lot of free activities in here, but if you guys want, we can make a video dedicated to the free things you can do in Las Vegas. Just drop a comment below if you want that. But do check the links below in the description and the comments for those links to the other Las Vegas. Next up, we're going to show you the world's largest chocolate fountain, which is really impressive. And that is right here in the Bellagio. So if you like chocolate, you're definitely going to want to check out the Bellagio Pastaria. That is where they have the world's largest chocolate fountain. You can see there's a Guinness Book of World Records certification right there on the wall. Created by Jean-Philippe Maury, it is actually a 26-foot, 3-inch tall circulating fountain of chocolate. Now we're actually going to go outside the Bellagio and we're going to show you the Bellagio Fountain. Now this is a show that starts in the late evening around about 5 and stops around 7 or 8 depending on when you're there. You'll have to verify those hours. It is free to watch. It's right there next to the Strip. A lot of people like to dine right there on the water here at the lake and then watch the fountain show while they're eating. But do be sure to book a reservation before trying to get one of those restaurant seats. They are popular. Next up, we're over to Area 15. Now, Area 15 is a complex of different attractions inside of this multi-acre arena kind of thing. You have Meow Wolf, you have the illumination outside, you have also very many exhibits. You could spend a whole day in here going through each exhibit. Try to book a ticket that comes with multiple attractions in one if you can. The prices can go over $100 per person. So if you do end up taking the whole family, try to block out a good 6 hours to a full day because that's how much activities are here. You can also get tickets for a lot cheaper than that. It just depends on how many activities you want to do while you're there. And from Area 15, if you want to get off the Strip for a bit, head over to downtown. This area is called Fremont Street. It's a little bit different vibe than the Strip because it's covered. And it is interesting. They got the Golden Nugget. They have a few other hotels that are popular here. They've got a new one called Circa. So definitely check out Fremont Street. But you can see there's lots of street performers. They got some zip lining that goes on here and a big light show on the roof. Again, another free activity that you can do in Las Vegas. But right here, you're going to have the bars. You can stay at the patio bar or any one of these resort bars right there on the Fremont Strip. So it's a cool thing to do. I would say it's worth checking out at least for a few hours while you're in town. It's a different vibe than the Strip. This is downtown Las Vegas. Totally different than the Strip. Two different cities actually because the Strip is actually in Paradise. This is Las Vegas. The Strip has more of that modern New World feel, whereas the Fremont experience has that old world vintage kind of Elvis Presley vibe going on. You'll see the older cars and lots of kicking back out here. Also, you're gonna have the Circa, which I talked about previously. This is like the premier hotel casino right there in that area if you're looking to stay right here. What the Circa has that I really enjoy for the casino is the sports book, probably one of the best in Vegas. And here is a great look at that sports book, lots of TVs, and it's really spacious and big, so do check that out if you're into sports betting. Now we're gonna talk about something you can do with your friends as a group. Get a limo. So if you've hit it big and you want to cruise up and down the Strip in style, get a limo or one of these tricycle cars or one of these sports cars and cruise up the Strip on your own. Next up, let's talk about shows. They have the Blue Man Show. They have Cirque du Soleil. They have Thunder Down Under for the ladies. They have comedy shows. Very many shows up and down here. You're going to check the Luxor, you're going to check Excalibur, you're going to check the Bellagio area, Mirage. They all have different types of shows, MGM also. And shows typically range anywhere between $50 on up to $150 to $200 per person, depending on the show you're going to go to. Now, let's talk about another complex resort area, the New York, New York. Now, New York, New York is interesting because it has the big roller coaster. It's also a resort casino with varying different rooms depending on which tower you're staying in. Also, they do have shows here, and it's connected to the T-Mobile Arena, which is where the Golden Knights play hockey. For me, I'm always impressed with the roller coaster. You can see right here, that roller coaster just kind of wraps around New York, New York. Also, in the New York, New York, they have the Hershey's Chocolate World. Again, another place for chocolate lovers. Now, you get every single type of Reese's flavor you could possibly imagine here. I would say do some taste testing and see which one you like the best, I guess. Next up, we're heading to an older casino called the Luxor. Obviously, it's the pyramid with the big light at the top. Now, the Luxor is getting dated, but it's still a very popular place to go, and they do have the Titanic art and shows like Fantasy and Carrot Top live. Also, if you go to the top, they have this exhibit called The Bodies, which to me is a bit creepy for me. I don't personally go in there, but the other one that people do go to, again, is the Titanic, which is an old artifact museum from the Titanic. So if you want to learn about the Titanic while you're in Las Vegas, believe it or not, that's where you're going to go, the Luxor. And you can see the Egyptian fusion with the Titanic Museum, kind of how the rooms slope up. Now we're going to talk about the Golden Nugget. And when you go to the Golden Nugget, you have to go to this place called the Tank. And it's like this indoor aquarium where they have these huge sharks and a slide goes right through it. The only way you can access it, though, is you have to be staying at the Golden Nugget. That is right there on Fremont. But I mean, check out the size of these sharks and the fish that are in that tank while you're going through that slide. Really cool. Now let's talk about the Flamingo. Now, the reason the Flamingo is so interesting is because it's basically the original hotel casino on the Strip that Bugsy Siegel founded way back in the day. So it's kind of a historical relic of sorts. You can stay here for a cheap price too. It's right next to the Linq, like I said. It's in a great location and it's a total classic. This is also one of those areas you're going to get more bang for your buck staying at the Flamingo. Now let's talk about a mall. And this mall that I'm going to show you next is actually called Fashion Show Mall. It is a state-of-the-art mall indoors. They have lots of restaurants here. It's right across the street from the Wynn, right on the Strip. So if you guys go inside here, you'll see it's got lots of quality shopping and restaurants and cafes. So if you don't want to pay that extreme price for a hotel breakfast or lunch or dinner, then you just go across the street to the mall here and you're going to get a better price. Right next door is going to be the Fantasy Lab. They say this is time to dream. It's another one of those areas to get your mind expanding for you or the kids. Basically where technologies blur the lines between science and fiction. The tickets here do range depending on where you get them. And now what do you guys say we head over to an old Las Vegas classic right here smack dab in the middle of the Strip. This here is the Caesars Palace. You can get great price rooms here, and like I said, it's right there in the middle. It's a classic. It has themed Italian, Roman kind of Florence style architecture in the inside. A fountain like Trevi Fountain where you can do some shopping and walking around. So definitely Caesars Palace is a cool place to check out while it's next door to the Bellagio. And you can see they've got the Atlantis show and they also have this aquarium in the inside. So a cool place. Now, if you're looking for a little bit more excitement and an adrenaline rush, head right down the road to the Adventuredome. So Circus Circus is where this is located. It's not considered one of the best hotel casinos resorts in Las Vegas anymore. It's an old classic, but the Adventuredome is a place where they got rides and you can definitely get some exhilaration on these rides. They have a few really cool roller coasters. So bring the kids here if you're looking for a daytime activity, just burn off some energy. And as you can see, it's all indoors, so that's good for the summer or even the cold winter that they get here in Las Vegas, because it was cold during February when we were here. As far as the pricing goes, you do pay per ride. You can get an all-day pass, but just walking around is free. But I mean, look at this roller coaster and the rest of the rides around here. Really a cool place, honestly. Now, we're going to go down to the end of the Strip to Mandalay Bay. This is where they have an aquarium, and they also have an outdoor beach. The place we're going to check out right now is called the Mandalay Bay Shark Reef Aquarium, and tickets right here cost around $20 to $29 depending on where you get the tickets. Again, it's one of those situations where if you get it at the door, at the gate, or if you go online, the prices and tickets are going to vary. But it's cool here. They say you can actually swim with the sharks. I didn't do that. You're going to see everything from sharks, rays, horseshoe crabs, so a variety of different marine aquatic animals here. All right, and just down the road is the MGM Grand. They've talked about doing some alternative things with this piece of property here, but as it stands right now, the MGM Grand is still here, and they call it the King of Sportsbooks. They also have the David Copperfield show here. Totally a Las Vegas classic. Now we're going to actually head over to the Cosmopolitan. This here is also up there with the Aria and the Bellagio and the Wynn as one of the best hotel casinos. As you can see, it's like a palace inside of here, but more of a crystal palace. Hanging out at the bar right in the middle of the Cosmopolitan at the casino is also fun. But gaming here, they have some of the best experience vibes you'll feel when you're gaming at the Cosmopolitan, in my opinion. Now we're going to actually head over to the Excalibur. This old castle kind of complex is another one of those casinos that they're not sure what they want to do with it, but it's still a cool place to check out. It's a lot more affordable than the other places on this strip, so if you're looking for an old, affordable accommodation, the Excalibur still got you. Now we're going to head over to the Miracle Mile. This is here at the Planet Hollywood. Miracle Mile is more of that shopping experience. You can walk around for literally what feels like a mile. There's lots of shops. They have the indoor bars also. It's an old classic. It's getting old. It was built about 20 years ago. It used to be really popular, but it's still up there with things to do. Now, something else to mention is that the Miracle Mile is inside the Paris facility, the Planet Hollywood area, so you're going to get that Eiffel Tower. You're going to get to go to the top of the restaurant if you want. It's actually in the middle of the Eiffel Tower, I should say. They also have that big ball that says Paris. But I also really enjoy the Paris. There's some hotel casino resorts that I don't really like, but Paris is one of those that I definitely do like. And another thing to do when you come to Las Vegas is get married. You can see they have these churches up and down the strip. This one here right next to the Wynn, but Las Vegas, Nevada is really known for quick, efficient marriage license. Now, if you're looking for some outdoor activities, one thing you can do that's just down the road is the Hoover Dam. This is a state-of-the-art dam with a hydroelectric power plant that you can tour. It's really a classic architectural marvel from many years ago, but it's still relevant today. Also, another thing is you can go to the Grand Canyon, but most people typically choose to get a helicopter ride that flies over the Grand Canyon. Prices do vary for both of those. The helicopter ride is going to be upwards of $150 or more at least, depending on the tour. Then there's also the Valley of Fire, which is a very incredible place to go if you like hiking. It's like an outdoor kind of environment that's like a Mars, that shows off the desert and the out-of-this-world environment that Las Vegas really exists in, right next to Death Valley, by the way. And there is so much more to do in Las Vegas. We really just highlighted 50 here, but the list could go all the way up to 100. And if you want more videos from us talking about Las Vegas, let us know in the comments. Also, watch some more of our other videos. We're going to put links to Las Vegas here and right here. If you want hotels, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks to everyone who subscribes and supports Island Hopper TV.